I'm interviewing my grandfather, Michael Gilzenrat. He's my mom's dad. And here we go. When did your family come to America?
Our family came to the United States in February of 1970.
Okay. What mode of transportation brought you here?
Well, our immigration started in Poland by train to Austria, then by train to Rome, Italy, and then on the airplane from Rome to the United States.
Okay. With whom did you travel?
I traveled with my entire family, which was my brother, my grandmother, my mother, and my father.
Okay. Why did you come to America?
Well, that was always a vision of my father and my mother that we would one day live in the United States. And I think the other reason, I was only 18 years old, so I wasn't paying much attention to the main reasons, but the key reason was that we were then living in a communist country which did not necessarily like Jewish people. So that was one of the other reasons for the immigration, is to come to a country like the United States, being a free country, that all people are welcomed.
Okay. What did you feel would be the advantages and disadvantages coming here?
Well, I was only 18 years old when I came here, so I wasn't really thinking of any disadvantages. Well, perhaps the only disadvantage, I was kind of thinking that I would leave my friends behind, but all the other thoughts that I was thinking about coming here were all the advantages, all the fun stuff, living in a free country like America.
Can I ask a question? What was not free? What were you not allowed to do? I guess
when you live in a, it's like a bird born in a cage. If you don't know any different, you think it's everything fine. But once you go outside, like this country, then you start looking back. There were a lot of things you were not allowed to do. You could not leave the country whenever you wanted to. You could never leave the country, go to a Western country. You could not really. You could not. I can't think of the word right now, but there were very little incentives to become someone, because 99% of the entire population in a communist country works for the government. So there's very little incentive to be an entrepreneur, to do other things. You can't physically even move from one city to another city without government saying, okay. So there are a lot of liberties that we take for granted here that are simply not there. Or they were not there.
So, what challenges did you face coming here?
Well, the biggest challenge obviously was English. Obviously my main language at that time was Polish. We lived in Austria, so I learned a little bit of German. Then we moved to Italy, so I started learning Italian. And then coming to the United States, and then English was obviously yet another language. So the biggest challenge was learning a fourth language or fifth language in that matter.
Okay. What is the best memory you have coming to America?
I think because of my age, between 17 and 18, I think the most fun part was the immigration process. Leaving Poland, going to Austria, living in Vienna for a couple months, then in Rome, Italy for about a year, without any responsibilities. So that was the kind of fun part. It was the process of coming to yet another country.
Did you bring anything special with you from your former homeland?
Well, other than obviously still nevertheless good memories, but probably the one thing as a physical thing that I brought with me was my bass guitar. I was always into music, as you know, and I used to play in a band. In fact, we still played in the band. So one thing that was very dear to me was my very special bass guitar, which I brought with me.
Okay. How old were you when you left? And when you came to America?
Yeah, I was about 17 when the immigration process began, and I was 18 when we came to America.
Where did you live?
Where did I live?
Yeah.
When you first came to America?
No, before.
Well, I was, as you know, born in Poland and lived there for about 17 years. Then we immigrated